So now the next thing is that you have all your labs here. So you have a lot of labs, and this is, is going to be a steep learning curve about how to perform a lab online. So in order to help you, what I allow you to do is to your first 3 labs, you can keep on resubmitting them until you get an A for the first 3 labs. And the way that you do that, so for example, in these labs here, when you enter your data, it doesn't tell you if you're right or wrong. So when you enter your data and you submit your file, the labs are not going to tell you if you got anything incorrectly. So in order for you to know what you've gotten correct and incorrect in your lab, there's something else that I've created, which is what I call a feedback sheet. So let's go ahead and talk about that. So if you go to the home page, there's a link here all the way at the bottom called feedback sheet. And also it's here, so it's right before the first lab is called the feedback sheets. So here, what it is, it's basically it's a version of your lab. So let's go ahead and look at your a version of a lab here. So you can see the original lab. It has colors that kind of help you see the different sections. With the feedback sheet, it's a version of the lab where everything is deleted except for what you've gotten incorrect. So you can see here that it looks like a similar version, but notice that all the colors are gone except for different cells that have their own new colors. So all these mark what are incorrect. So this is what I call a feedback sheet. So with this, let's go ahead and talk about that a little bit, because you can see that here I actually have a video that describes the feedback sheet as well. Okay. So what the feedback sheet is once you turn in your lab, then you turn your lab for a given week, and then when I grade it, your grade gets posted to Canvas, and along with your grade getting posted to Canvas, then I'm also going to post this object here, a feedback sheet, into Canvas as well. And what you'll do is you'll open it, and then what you'll be able to do is see each cell, the corresponding color here, and that tells you that what's got that cell has been marked wrong. And on the left here, it tells you what each color means, how many points are taken off. But you can see right there why the cell was marked wrong, and also how many points are taken off for the cell. So this is what I call a feedback sheet. So you'll be able to you're going to get a feedback sheet for every lab that you submit, but you'll only be able to use this feedback sheet to fix your first 3 labs for a higher grade. So again, once you've gotten, so there's some more instructions here, but after you turn in your labs, to help you get acquainted with how to actually use the Excel file and how the lab works, is you can actually resubmit your first 3 labs for a higher grade. And in order to do that, what you'll do is once you turn in your lab, I'll post a grade, and then what you'll do is you'll go to Canvas, to the feedback sheet page, and then from there you're gonna download the corresponding week's feedback sheet, and then you'll fix the mistakes based on the colored cells over here. And once you fix those mistakes on your original lab, then you can resubmit it for a higher grade. And you can do that as many times as you want for the first 3 labs, but you can only use a feedback sheet for the first 3 labs. Okay. Attendance, since we're a virtual lab, attendance is not part of your grade. But I'm just leaving that there because this comes standard from the college's policies, but attendance is not part of your grade. So again, if you look at your grade here, you only graded on your labs, your homework, and the discussion. And if you look at attendance, there's no attendance here, so attendance is not part of your grade. Okay. I already talked about late policy. So everything else here is pretty generic. Okay. So let's see if there's anything else that we're missing from Canvas. So let's go ahead and give an overview of what I've discussed. I've showed you the Canvas homepage, each lab module, and also where you'll be able to go and download your feedback sheets. So we discussed that. I've talked about the grade distributions for the lab. Labs are 65% every grade, homework is 25%, and discussions are 10% every grade. I've talked about the resources, such as the free Microsoft Excel. There are some other things you'll have to do here, but I've talked about those free resources, and I've talked about the general overview for the labs. That for each lab, you'll participate. So you'll watch a video lecture. You'll participate in the discussion about the theory for the lab. You'll download your assignments, and then as you do this, you'll download your labs. You'll download your labs. And as you do the labs, you'll participate in a lab discussion where as you do the lab, a video is going to guide you through the steps, ask you questions about the lab, and you'll be able to also use this section here, the lab discussion post, as an opportunity to ask your classmates for help if you have any questions. And that's the basic overview. There aren't any exams for this lab. It's just you're only graded on your labs and your homeworks and the discussion posts. And overall, that's the structure for the entire lab. Okay. And so it looks like we've completed everything here. So this is going to be this has been the orientation for Physics 1 fully online lab. So just make sure that you complete everything in the Start Year module before. So yeah, you have to make sure you complete all your everything in the Start Year module before you can begin the first week's lab. All right, everybody. So this has been the orientation to Physics Lab 1. Nice to have you. And if you have any questions, please contact me over Canvas inbox.